Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Slice of Gaming podcast, episode 96 for May 3rd, 2025. I'm your host, The Uncharted Wolf, and I am depressed. And I'm hopefully joined by a less depressed cast to hopefully cheer me up over what was a pretty hard week for the video game industry. A lot of rough news all around the place, except for PlayStation, which is why Fusion is here, so that us PlayStation fans can be happy for one more week.
Yeah, shout out PlayStation for letting us be at least somewhat sane for probably another 3 days. Monday will hit and they'll announce something really tragic. So
yeah, like Blue Point had another God of War live service game. I'm also joined by Jack.
Yeah, if you want me to be positive, I don't know why you grabbed me.
And my other very positive friend, Moon.
I mean, I'm still depressed that next year's Soggies and everything still have to deal with another year of GTA, so I'm still depressed too.
You're not getting Judas. Sorry, I'm lashing out. I'm sorry.
That too. I've already accepted that. I've accepted that thing just doesn't exist. That's a money laundering scheme. It's just a reskinned Bioshock.
Dude, I didn't even put it in the news. I completely forgot. Ken Levine just randomly tweeted out. It's like, we're getting out of pre-production for Judas. It's like pre-production.
What was that video you put out?
12 years. Oh god. But yeah, lots of big news. GTA 6 in the news finally. Not for the reason I wished, but hey, it's in the news at least. A lot of stuff going on in the Xbox realm. Lots of player counts and sales numbers. Of some new release dates and delays. Pretty big news week, all things considered. But yeah, if you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, every one of your favorite podcast platforms. We're going to be on there. Like the podcast, any type of support helps, and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. But boys, let's get into it. Let's get into the bad one. All right, GTA 6 has been delayed. Jack, just do your celebratory "I was right" for right now, okay? Before I read the story.
I'm sad. I was looking forward to it. I wanted to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, Bob apparently is sad, but first thing he sends me is the little hee emoji that we have in our server. So it's like, okay, well, fuck you then.
he's taking a victory lap.
Yeah,
and I just want to point out, I am sad, but I was the first person ever on the podcast to say it wouldn't hit this year.
Okay, Fusion. I'm sorry. You're the GOAT.
And it's just like
you can host the podcast.
I feel like Bob's taking all the glory for it. It's only because he's like a loud hater. I was never a hater. I get, I realized he was just hated. He wanted it to miss. I didn't want it to miss. I just was going with my gut, and I felt like it just wasn't going to happen when you go 600 days between trailers and still counting. I mean, 600 days and counting. So
600 days, man. All right. Well, let me read the post that Rockstar put on their website. They put this on Twitter, guys. If you want to understand how big GTA 6 is going to be, the Twitter post was came up at 6:25 this morning. It already has 542,000 likes, which is insane how big this game is going to be. But the actual post is Grand Theft Auto 6 is now coming May 26, 2026. Grand Theft Auto 6 is now set to be released on May 26, 2026. We are very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and GTA 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. And that's all they posted. I went back and checked. When they delayed Red Dead 2, they showed new screenshots. They at least gave us something. Here? Nah, fuck you. You're still waiting, buddy.
You get a message box full of text.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues, but I guess just gut reaction. I mean, I think all three of you were on the side of this getting delayed. Actually, I don't know if you were, man. Were you adamant this would get delayed?
I was half and half. Part of me wanted it to be delayed just because of certain personal things of basically Slice of Gaming stuff. I don't want it being at the next most anticipated. I didn't want Colin to win Fantasy Critic for not even participating. He got GTA 6 for free.
Dude, that was yes.
So it's just dumb reasons like that I wanted it delayed. Personally, I did just want it to come out, just get it out. But also, I just felt like all of the signs were pointing to it's going to get delayed. So I was this weird balancing act of depending on when you asked me, did I want it to be delayed? Did I want it to come out? But
Yeah.
I think deep down I knew the fact that we were now in May and it was supposed to be in release in fall, like, and we still saw nothing, even though they kept saying, "Oh, it's going to be a short marketing period because we're GTA 6. We don't really need to market." And
Yeah.
I kind of believe that. And then, but yeah, I would say by this time, and there's not even a second trailer. Like, come on. So yeah, I kind of just knew it deep down.
It's weird because they do that short marketing thing, and that's the thing. It's still very much like they're probably going to do a short marketing cycle. Like maybe even by the end of this year, we still don't hear anything about this game, which is insane. But maybe they are like, no, we'll market in 2026 when it's actually coming out. I guess my viewpoint is like my argument was always they accounted for the delay. They always accounted for the delay. They announced it in 2023 and they said it's 2025. And to me, that was just this thought of they accounted for the delay. They knew it would be delayed if they put it 2024. So they were like, no, we're actually going to do 2 years ahead of time. But I guess I just forget, like, this is the AAA games industry and games are getting bigger and longer and more expensive and it takes forever to release anything. And they kind of need this to be as perfect as it can be because this has to be a bug-free experience, basically. And
Yeah.
what's so interesting is how sudden, because I don't know if you guys remember this, last month, like literally the month before, Strauss Zelnick was talking about like, yeah, we're still on track, and like, I don't know, I think he said something like we want the shorter marketing cycle, all that stuff. It kind of tells me that they found something catastrophic, like not catastrophic, but like catastrophic in the sense that it needs to be a delay rather than, oh, we can iron it out by the last few months. Either that or they just want to make sure that it's completely ironed out and they realize the timetable was, no, it kind of needs to be delayed.
I think the weirdest part of this, instead of just saying, yeah, okay, we're just going to say it's 2026, it's not coming out this year. And the fact that they even gave us a specific date is the wildest part here. What that tells me is they've had 2 dates in mind, and they probably had a fall date in mind to say, if we can be at this certain milestone for the game, we can release it this fall, and we'll release that announced date. But this is probably telling me they didn't meet that. They probably, like you said, probably found something really catastrophically bad, and they're like, okay, well, here's our backup date, and they're like, okay, we have to commit to this date now because we found this problem that's not going to be fixed and ready to go by this fall. And also, as Jack alluded to in the chat earlier this morning when this dropped, the fact that it's today and we're getting their financial report next week is clearly intentional of saying, yeah, this is them giving shareholders a time to breathe. It's like, get ready for it.
Yeah, no, it's a weird thing of they basically they have a runway now. Like they have a whole year at this point to be working on this game. And I am much more confident in this date. Jack, you brought up the idea of like the possibility of a second delay into like holiday of 2026. I don't know if you want to expound upon that, if you truly believe it.
May is just weird. Like, I thought it would be either this fiscal or next holiday. So I thought they'll either squeeze it out before the end of March, which was kind of my main theory. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they're not doing that, May, is just odd. Like, yeah, I think I saw Daniel. Sorry, go on.
And I was just gonna chime in. I saw some people on like the couple Reddits saying that this is following the Red Dead Redemption 2 delay pattern, and because of that, there will probably be another small delay from May to like fall next year. Because that's what happened with Red Dead.
Even I think Daniel admitted, he might have been joking on Blue Sky, but he was saying that it will probably be holiday. So I don't know.
The same delay pattern as well.
Yeah, I'm certainly not predicting that at the moment. I'm just saying that seems like a pretty solid possibility, because it's just weird to give like an exact date. Like, do you remember when Starfield gave an exact date a year and a half before it released, and that got delayed? So it's the only other thing I think is like maybe they know it can be ready for this holiday, but it won't be as polished as they would like. So maybe it's like almost finished, but they just want to spend a lot of time polishing.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat where I kind of subscribe to the idea that it's probably next holiday as well. Like, I think they could hit that May date, but to me, it's more of the thing of like, hey, Rockstar is like, hey, we're gonna give you guys a date so that you stop freaking out, because they couldn't just say it's delayed. They couldn't just give 2026 again, because I think the backlash would just be too like too much at that point when you'd be like, hey, we're not coming out this year, and we're saying just 2026 and not even giving you a date. I think they gave the date so people could like have some hope that they're like, okay, May 26th, we finally have a date for GTA. It's the first date they've ever put out there. But then I could 100% see us getting to like April or March and then being like, hey, we're gonna delay 4 more months. We're gonna delay to September. We're gonna delay to October, because that feels a lot better than them just coming out straight up and be like, hey, this is a holiday next year game. Like the delay is probably, it could be out that far, but I feel like Rockstar would never announce it. They would rather delay it once into May, have people have some type of hope, still market it up, and then once they get closer to May, be like, okay, we're gonna delay it one more time. This will be the final delay to holiday, because it's because like GTA coming, like whenever GTA comes out, you're gonna sell consoles, you're gonna sell everything. But like GTA is such a seller in the holiday time that I feel like even Rockstar themselves would rather this be a holiday game 2026 than a May game in 2026.
But it also feels like a GTA, especially with what they're going for with this whole Florida vibe. It definitely feels like it's a summer game. You're putting it right before summer vacation for a lot of places. So it kind of fits thematically instead of being a holiday game, but it does. Yeah, it's a system seller for the holiday. So I can kind of see both ways going.
I guess my argument, first of all, like Rockstar has done this spring release date before, GTA 4, which granted that was 2008, so it's a completely different time in the industry. But still, they've done a spring release for a Grand Theft Auto game before. But also, it's like if you you talk about the holiday boost, and it's like, well, maybe they get like kind of a double sales trajectory. Maybe they get like a big launch, and then you get the holiday sales later that year. That just feels like kind of a strong tale for the entirety of 2026, where it's just you're constantly selling this GTA 6 that just refuses to stop. Granted, again, I am of the mind it very much could be delayed again. I am a lot more confident, especially with the specific date. I don't know, like, yeah, we've seen specific dates get delayed, Starfield, but it just feels like they put a lot more confidence in this one.
I'm curious, do you think this shortens the window between the console version and the PC version, or do you think this gap remains the same?
It's still a year.
Yeah, I think the gap. I think that's what makes me the most upset. Is like, if you're gonna keep delaying it, and I understand this isn't how dev time works, but if you're gonna keep delaying it, can you just delay it to the point where it's out on everything? Like if they're like, hey, we're working on the PC version at the same time, because it's not like they're not working on the PC version, because if they weren't working on the PC version at all, it wouldn't always just be like a year or so until it hit the PC. So like, if you're gonna keep delaying it, like give us something where it's like, okay, maybe we just hit next holiday and it's out on all 3 platforms. Like that would be my dream, is if they would do that. But I know that's not how it works, and that's never how Rockstar works. So it's like whenever the game comes to console, it's going to be another at least year for on the PC thing, and that's what makes me the most upset. Is when I'm sitting here thinking, okay, we might not get this game on PC till summer 2027, and that just feels like so far away.
Dude, I'll be dead by then.
Like it's so far away. I wish it was that type of scenario where Ubisoft, granted, it's different. It was always going to be on PC with Shadows, but like it was a area where once they delayed Shadows, they said, okay, now it's on Steam. Like that was a thing that happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's like Rockstar can 100% take that approach. I just don't believe they care enough to.
Well, that's my thing. They just don't like. They don't care, and they're like, well, we would just get the double dip. Let's get people to double dip, because like, I mean, Fusion. I assume you're probably gonna double dip.
Most likely, yeah.
It's tough. It's like they kind of got us by the balls. It's the same thing with Nintendo with Mario Kart for 80. It's like, what are you gonna do? Not buy it? It's like, shit, you got me there.
The only and it's strong wording, but I've been saying the only way I do not buy GTA is if it's truthfully only 30 FPS on console. Like I don't think I could do it. Like I really don't. And that's just
it's gonna be 30.
And that's just a personal thing where it's just like I might wait at that point. Like if I'm gonna wait 13 years, what's one more? If I really have to, like,
come on, you're not gonna be able to resist the FOMO. I respect the audacity. I don't know. I feel that's a 97 rated game. Your eyes are just too advanced for it, man. You gotta go down to bench level and pretend you don't see frame rate.
Or like at least I'll buy the pro.
Dude, if you buy a pro for it, hey, man, listen, that's not me. I can't buy a pro for one game. That's too far a bridge. We'll see.
We're just going to ignore you saying it's a 97 game.
It would definitely be up there.
GTA.
I mean, GTA never scored like less than a 96. Like it's going to be up there.
Like, how is that a crazy prediction? This happens every release schedule. Is like, oh, guys, maybe this is the one that disappoints, and then it doesn't. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, Rockstar, you're still cooking. They always cook, and like I know it's gonna be good. I know it's gonna like meet my expectations. I have that trust, but it is just that feeling of like I've waited so long. What's another year? I guess it's
GTA 5 was a 92.
no, it wasn't.
Well, that probably on OpenCritic. When it locked on Metacritic, it was definitely like 97.
Grand
I
Theft
think
Auto
OpenCritic has
5.
it down to a 92.
What
Grand
brought
Theft Auto
it
5
down?
is in 97.
Yeah, on Metacritic when it first launched.
I think it would probably be the PS5 version that brought it down.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
that's
sure it was like the next gen versions and like because all of those go into like on OpenCritic. So it's probably like all the remasters, the next gen versions, like all of that, where people are like, "Oh, it's just more GTA 5. Here's an 8 out of 10."
Yeah, so it's so PS3 is 97, Xbox 360 97, PS4 97, PC 96. Your brethren are evil, Fusion, and then PS5 81, Xbox Series X 79.
Yeah, so like those
So
substantially
if
brought
you
it down.
could just admit you're wrong, Moon, say you're wrong for the camera, please.
Did you say 79 for the Series X version?
Dude, Xbox fans were not having it that day. they were like, what is this supposed to substitute Fable? Another GTA 5 port? But yeah, truthfully, when do you guys think we actually get like trailer 2 at the least?
This holiday.
December.
January.
Yeah, I'm in the mind of January.
I can see that.
They're gonna lean into this whole marketing thing. It's like 2026, the year of GTA 6, and they're gonna like launch it on like New Year's Day or something.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that May 26, 2026. That's a hard ass release date. Like, come on.
I feel bad for Keeley at this point because the Game Awards, another one's coming around where everyone's going to expect him to have a trailer. He won't, but I think everyone's gonna be like, "Where's GTA?"
I think they might not lean into it as hard because they're like, well, we have a date. Like, I think the whole reason why we leaned into it was like, Keely's got to have a trailer, right? Because we had nothing, but now we have a date. So that's at least going to satiate people and be like, okay, at least we're not as in the dark about it. Now, granted, come December at the Game Awards, yeah, okay, we might start building up again. Okay, we're only 5 months away from GTA 6. We got to have a trailer now, right? And then we don't.
I feel like we're
Because
still
Rockstar doesn't
just
like Jeff Keighley.
even a release date, we're still very much in the same amount of dark. Like, it's just like, because this could get delayed at any moment. Something of this magnitude, it feels like it's so volatile to get delayed.
I wonder.
I don't know.
I mean, this is me talking on my ass, but I wonder how much the online affects the delay.
Yeah,
It's got to be the
wondering that.
majority, right? Like,
Do you guys
I feel
know
like
what-
at this point it has to be online related.
I assume maybe they kind of realize it's like, man, online just isn't working. And I am of the mind online launches later, but they don't want online to launch 6 months later. They want it to be like 2 weeks to a month later.
I think that's what they did with Red Dead, right?
Yeah,
and
Red Dead
GTA
2 was a
5.
month, GTA 5 was 2 weeks. So they kind of want to aim around that span.
Yeah, so if I had to guess, again, not a dev, but I feel like all the things they do with online is probably substantially harder on them, like bug wise, polish wise, where it's like the campaign could be about as good as it's gonna get, could be polished, you know what I mean, at this point, but maybe it's like it comes down to online not being ready, and like you said, they don't want to release the campaign and then you have to wait. Like there could be a world where they put the campaign and just base GTA out this holiday, and then online wasn't ready till next May. And it's like I doubt they don't want to take that approach. At this point, more people are playing GTA Online than the story. Like people love GTA Online, so that's the reason that game continued to sell. So it's like I could see a world where they're like, hey, we could have this game this holiday, but online won't be ready, and then Rockstar's like, nah, we need to release it like as a package or as close as a package as we can get.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, if I had it my way, I'd be like, yeah, sure, delay online for those 6 months.
Yeah, I
but
would be the same way.
From the
Yeah, I
business
don't care about
perspective,
it.
obviously. Like,
Yeah.
you need it. Yeah. Moon, I still haven't gotten an apology, by the way.
You ain't getting
We'll
it.
see. I'll see you in May 2026.
No, you need to apologize for saying GTA 5 was a 92. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
It's
he's
true
a-
on OpenCritic.
I was just saying,
I'm
he's really one they sell on OpenCritic, to be fair. Because I've always thought that was weird too. Because I go to OpenCritic all the time and I'm like, 92 seems really low, but then It was the Xbox Series X and PS5 versions.
We should take down OpenCritic then? That the plan?
No, we love OpenCritic over here.
I have beef with OpenCritic. David's screwing me in the Fantasy Critic. Blueprints reviews keep going lower and lower.
I don't know if that's their fault.
That is their fault, man. What? Who are these reviewers that didn't get their code the day of or the week before, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna review it low because I didn't get a code and I had to buy it." God. OpenCritic, please put us on Slice of Gaming onto OpenCritic though, if you could. But yeah, GTA 6. God bless. Hopefully, we get to play it sooner rather than later. Moving into more depressing news, Xbox will be raising its game prices to $80 later this year. Tom Henderson has this on Insider Gaming. Xbox has announced it will be raising its prices for both its hardware and games this year, with games going to $80 this holiday. In an announcement released today, Xbox confirmed that the consoles and hardware will increase in price starting today. We'll get to that in a second. But that's not all, as the company has also confirmed that starting this holiday season, Xbox's first-party games will now set you back $79.99 USD. In a statement with the IGN, Microsoft said, "We understand that these changes are challenging and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players." In its earnings call yesterday, Microsoft announced that game revenue increased while its hardware sales continued to decline, which is something we actually had later. And then also we have the hardware prices. Jeff Keighley posted this up on Twitter. Xbox raising prices on Series X and S hardware up 80 to 100 USD. So the big one here is the Xbox Series S. The old price was $300 and now it is $380. And then the Xbox Series X was $500 and now the new one is $600. Ladies and gentlemen, remember when the PS3 came out at $600 and then 3 years later they slashed it to $300? Never happening again. Console prices console prices will keep increasing till the end of time. It is weird to imagine that now as a day one console buyer, we get the best deals. So first and foremost, for our day one boys here, we fucking beat those dumbasses buying it at higher prices. Screw them. All right, am I right?
It's funny. It's like the opposite of games now. It's like you buy the console at launch because it's going to get more expensive later on. You buy games at launch, that's like the worst version of the game, but you're going to get it better with patches and cheaper at a later time. It's like they work in tandem with one another.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. It was funny, Fusion. We were talking a lot about like who's going to be the one to go up to 80 now that Nintendo has broken the seal. I don't think either of us predicted Xbox.
No, we both said PlayStation. The fact that
PlayStation winning
jumped the gun, like the fact that Xbox jumped the gun here, and the $80 games, I went on a big rant yesterday, but the $80 games, whatever, like that happens. I fully expected that. It was the consoles that I just do not understand, especially we'll get to the fiscal report, but like their hardware was down 6%. I mean, the hardware continues to go down.
Bring that up real quick.
Okay, yeah, if you want to bring it in.
Yeah, just real quick, since we're going to bring it up. The financial year 2025 Q3 earnings. Overall revenue plus 5%. Content and services increased by 8%. And then, as you mentioned, hardware dropped 6%.
Yeah, and it's like, it drops. I think over holiday it might have had a boost, but like for the most part, ever since the Xbox Series X came out, like it has went down in hardware sales. Like it's always going lower and lower. So I don't understand, and I understand that Xbox isn't in that we're going to push the hardware as our main focus anymore. Like they're getting away from that. But the fact that you're seeing those numbers continue to drop and drop and drop, and your next move is like, hey, let's raise the console prices. The games, whatever. Like you said, we probably knew the games were going to go to $80. But the fact that the consoles are going not even up a little bit, substantially up, like the Series S now is like the same as a Switch 2. The Xbox Series X at this current moment is only $100 less than a PS5 Pro, which is a substantially more powerful console. It's like, I don't get it from that perspective. Accessories, whatever, games, again, we expected it. The hardware thing specifically is where I think Xbox is really like, just doesn't have an idea here, but everything else was going up, so they said, why not, and just put those up as well.
Yeah, the 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Series X is $20 more, or $30 more expensive than a PS5 Pro. Which, I mean, I'm at the point now, I don't really know why you would buy an Xbox. as just like a new person getting into games, I understand Game Pass. You would actually probably be better off getting a PC now.
That was what I was going to lean into. Just not even just the price hike, but just the console numbers just going down pretty much ever since launch. To me, that just sounds like the people who got the Xbox are like the diehard fans who want all the consoles, like people like me, basically.
Yeah.
And now the people who bought them, they bought them like at launch within the first year or so. And now the people buying them is just not getting them. And I think the people who are, unless you're someone like me who just likes having all consoles, you're going to go with one platform. And I think this is a slow shift towards more and more people are switching over to PC. I think that's just what telling me. PlayStation will always have their fan base because of their exclusives and whatnot, whereas Xbox is doing this multi-platform thing to where they said we don't need the Xbox. I have either my PlayStation with ports or I have my PC and I just play all my Xbox games there. So the console itself is now just almost like I almost want to call it like a commoner console in a way that's like
That's crazy.
it's like it's for the people who want to play on the Xbox and they want to play COD and Madden and that's it. So like that's the only thing that's keeping like those numbers up. Whereas like the more, if you want to call them gamers, are getting PlayStations or both, or they're going full PC, like kind of like what I'm slowly going to. So I think it's just a shift in the industry is what that is showing, instead of more or less what Xbox is doing. And I think Xbox is just saying, okay, well, we're not selling as many consoles, might as well get as much money as we can for it and just blame the economy on it. Well, it could be both. It could be them saying, let's just make some money on the consoles on the few that we are selling, but we also have to make up the cost for making them because they are expensive machines.
And I'm right there with you, where it's like we've seen from the PC numbers, like month after month, PC numbers are going up, especially like Steam specifically. Like Steam are reaching all-time highs, where it seems like the console market is, the more we talk about it, it's getting less and less, which is like, it's concerning, but also like you said, I mean, more people are understanding the value of their PC, the value of getting a PC. You're getting normally cheaper games. You're having better hardware for the price. Like you can build a PC in a for $600 that's going to be better than your Series X. Like it's just how that works, my boy. My takeaway though is from like where you called it like the commoner console is like, not with the price increase. I don't understand how you can be like a 7th grader with no job and go to your parents and be like, hey, I want the new Xbox, or like can you get me an Xbox that's now $600, probably $640 after tax. Like
the Series S especially makes zero sense to go for now, because it's almost
like
the same price as a PS5 digital.
Yes, well, it's like the point where if you wanted to just be like, hey, we understand we're multi-plat, a lot of our players are moving to PC, you can play our games there, Game Pass is over there, blah blah blah. I still don't understand where, if they want new players to enter the ecosystem, it's almost impossible now. It's obviously not impossible, but like you can't just go to it. There was times throughout the last few years where you could get an Xbox Series S for sometimes as low as $250, sometimes $200, and that was the value of that console. Saying, hey, if you're in 7th grade, 8th grade, 6th grade, whatever, you could go to your parents and be like, hey, can you get me this new Xbox? It's only $250. Now it's like you go to your parents and you're like, hey, can you get me this new Xbox? Sorry, it starts at $430. And they're just like, no, we can't afford that right now. And then also, if they don't have Game Pass, it's like, I want this $430 console and I want the new Madden. The new Madden will be $80. We're talking $500 something plus dollars just for one kid on Christmas. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense from a perspective of trying to grow the industry. We've talked about this for about 5 years now. We've reached the peaks of COVID, and I understand why, because everyone was at home, more people were playing games. Animal Crossing was the biggest thing in the world. But it's like we hit those peaks and we didn't sustain them. And it wasn't always going to be capable to sustain the peaks of the peaks, but we could have figured out ways to grow. And it feels like the last 5 years we've only went the opposite direction. And it's like things like this with the $80 price increase and the console increase, it's like this is the exact opposite of what we need to do as an industry if we want to grow. We can't sit here, these publishers and these devs and all these people can't sit here and be like, well, the industry isn't growing and we're having layoffs and all this, and then do something like this where you're making it impossible for consumers to enter the industry. Like new consumers, you can't grow up anymore and be like, I want to play video games as much as you could 10 years ago. It was never a hobby that was like not super expensive, but like at this point, it's becoming astronomically expensive where you can't just go to your parents, like I said, and want to play games anymore.
Man,
there is one thing. Sorry,
I'll just
real
quickly say
there is one way you can play games: a phone, Fortnite.
Yeah.
That's just easier. But yeah, Moon, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say it's unfortunately it's just something that is almost everything now. Like I pay attention to a lot of different industries, and it's almost happening everywhere. Is your hobbies are becoming too premium? Too many hobbies are becoming too premium to withstand like the common consumer. So you're only going to have the people who are like really dedicated to them, because and everyone's going to go back to drawing and what. Even drawing materials has gone up in price, so I can't even go to that as an example. Everyone's gonna go fly some kites now. It's the only thing we can afford now.
Kites that they made themselves. They had to make the kite. They couldn't afford to buy the kite anymore.
It is interesting. I mean, like, you talk about affordability in gaming, Fusion, and it's like, yeah, you're kind of right about like the fact of the growing industry. It seems to like we're at this plateau where it's growing, but not to the exponential amounts that it was like like during COVID and whatnot. I think the thing is like there are major growth sectors for gaming in other places, which is free to play and PC. Those are the ones that are growing. Consoles aren't growing. So if you're a Microsoft, you're a PlayStation, hell, if you're a Nintendo, you kind of look at this and it's like, well, what should we do? Keep our prices the same and like at the end of the day eventually lose money, or go higher on our prices and just extract more money from each consumer? And I think you look at it as like, yeah, they're effectively just trying to get more money out of each consumer instead of trying to do this whole like, oh, eventually we'll get more people. And it's like, there's one video I highly recommend you guys watch this. It's from Alana Pierce about like kind of the issues plaguing the AAA games industry. And one point that she brings up that's like, oh yeah, completely forgot about that. Gaming isn't really competing with each other. Like it's not like PlayStation versus Microsoft anymore. And Phil Spencer brought this up a year ago or so. They're competing with Netflix, they're competing with TikTok, they're competing with all these other avenues of entertainment for just people's attention and time. There's a thing about how there are less technically gamers now. There's more time being spent playing games from the people who play games. But like what a lot of people used to kind of just like go home from work and play a couple of hours of gaming, they just scroll on TikTok now, Those people are freaks and I hate them, but at the end of the day, it's like that is potential customers gone now because TikTok exists or because Netflix exists. That type of thing, that's the real competition. And we're losing more and more potential avenues of people playing video games. And the hope is that something like a GTA 6 is so big that people will jump on the PlayStation 5 and Series X and they play GTA, but then they're like, you know what, let's check out these other games now that I have a console again, to play video games. That's the hope. We don't know if that's going to actually happen, though, which is interesting to kind of like monitor right now.
It is interesting to see that. It's always like the harsh reality reminder that we as like quote unquote gamers, we need a better term.
Yeah, I hate calling ourselves gamers, man. It's just that
it's like we are a minority there, and we have to realize that they're getting all. It's almost circling back on that whole. Well, what are you gonna do? Not buy Mario Kart kind of answer. It's like they kind of know that like these games, especially the big first party like tentpole franchises like the Ghost of Yotes, the Mario Karts, all these big important first like they know that we fans, we gamers are going to be there no matter what they do to us. Especially like GTA, like the whole GTA is going to be $100 meme. Like, what are we going to do? Not play GTA?
Jack, I haven't heard from you yet. Have the prices are they in the UK too? Have they adjusted there?
Yes. Well, the price of the console definitely has. I haven't seen any word on the games, but I assume they're going to be the same as well. Yeah, so it's about £500 here now, I think, for the Series X. I'm not sure what that is in dollars, probably about 550.
Yeah, so I always forget that because I think the pound's been getting weaker lately, hasn't it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Either way, it's there's not much you can really say about the console thing because it's just like, yeah, it's gonna go up because I know we're all sick of hearing about it, but you know, tariffs are fucking us all over, so it's just a mess. The game thing is just weird because, like, let's face it, not many people are buying Microsoft games anyway, so it's weird for those to be going up when, I don't know, what's the next Microsoft game that's going to be 80? It's going to be Call of Duty. What else? Like Ninja Gaiden's not going to be 80, is it?
No chance.
No,
Probably
that's Koei Tech. That's gonna be more Koei Tecmo setting that more than Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft's publishing, that's also. I don't know who's saying it. But, I mean, Fable, maybe.
Yeah, I can see
Probably.
Fable.
Dark. Man, I don't know. It's like $80 is such a like insane jump. To where it's like I feel like you almost need to be like the biggest of the big, like GTA and Mario Kart or Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's weird. I guess Game Pass will be going up next. I know Sony is looking at this, and they will be chomping at the bit to raise theirs as well in the US. I'm assuming they're just waiting to find out what they can get away with, especially since no one knows what's happening at the moment. They've obviously already raised them over here. Yeah, I don't really have much to say.
No, that's fair. I guess it's like there's not much to say other than damn, these price increases do suck. I guess one thing. Oh my god, I had a train of thought. I completely lost it.
Yep, that's thinking.
I was thinking too much about Fable. I guess I don't know. But we know Call of Duty is obviously going to hit the 80. I guess. When do you guys think other companies are going to follow suit? Do you guys, Fusion? Do you think us Sony fans, like you said, 3 days? You know, next week they say, hey, now we're raising to 80, or do you think they just go to the kind of coast through the end of the year with Ghost and Death Stranding 2? They're already pre-ordered for $70. They go through the rest of the year, have those be 70, and then next year they're like, okay, now we're going to 80.
I mean, me and Bob were talking off air last night about it, where it's like if PlayStation wants to be the good guys for the next 7 months, they can. You know, they're not like if they want to. I think they're going to get 80 at some point. There's no way PlayStation sits here for the rest of the generation and doesn't. Like that's just wishful thinking. But like if they want, like we know, like you said, their 2 biggest games of the year are already $70 and already you can pre-order them. So like they're not changing those prices. If they want to sit for the next 7 months and be like, hey, we're gonna quote unquote play the good guy, so even more people decide to jump into the PlayStation ecosystem, because again, that would just be another thing of, hey, we now cost less than Xbox across the board. We have all the games that Xbox puts out. Come join us, like play on our side. If they can do that for the next 7 months, especially in this upcoming holiday, if they can at least get through holiday, bolster those numbers up to where it's like a crap ton of new players, because that's the best place to play right now. And then we get into 2026 and they're like, okay, Wolverine, whatever else is next, like that's when the $80 come. I think that would be the smarter play. Do I think that's what PlayStation does? Probably not, because at the end of the day, they're a company who wants money. And if they can come out next week and be like, hey, $80 here, price of the console up here, they're going to do it. So it's like, from a perspective of a little bit of fanboyism, like I would love for them to just sit there for 7 months and just be quote unquote the good guys, but that seems impossible and they're going to move. I'm more interested in like when does EA start doing it with like their sports titles, or when does Ubisoft do it with their stuff, because as publishers without consoles, I feel like it's a bigger deal when they start to be like, hey, this is going to be $80.
Yeah.
Was Take-Two the first third party to go to 70?
They were so fast. It was like comically fast. They're like, yeah, NBA 2K is now 70. I think they were the first. Or was it Sony?
They were definitely one of the first, if not the first, yeah. So, because I was just thinking, I don't think Borderlands 3 pre-orders are up yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is 80.
Borderlands 4?
Borderlands 4, sorry.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot to put the Borderlands State of Play.
Good. We didn't need it. We didn't need it. We all forgot it happened.
We know.
My question.
That is the crazy thing, though. Like, has there ever been a case of something going up for pre-order and we seeing the price and then they change it later on?
No,
Not that I can
Probably,
recall.
but nothing's coming to mind, because usually you pay at that moment, don't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
you put the full
imagine like
amount
you pre-order like Ghost of Yotei now, and then like 2 weeks from now, Ghost of Yotei goes up to 80. Like, at least they'll still hopefully honor that it's still 70, but you almost get that $10 discount because you pre-ordered early.
If anything, I bet they'd cancel your pre-orders and make you pre-order it again with the new price.
Oh,
That'd
that
be
would
so
go
fucked.
over so great.
Yeah, could you
Yeah.
imagine, like, right now as a PlayStation fan, we're in the dumps, and then they hit us with that? Oh, God.
Well, again, I do think the console, like PlayStation consoles, will be going up within the next few weeks in America.
Oh, yeah, for
because
sure.
they already have everywhere else, so they're
Yeah,
probably just
because here's the
Cool.
thing, I am very much of the mind. Sorry to interrupt you, Jack. But I'm of the mind that these console prices and game prices were going to go up no matter what. Like, before the presidency and the tariffs happened, I just think the tariffs like very much accelerated it. Where I think 2 years from now, maybe they were going to go up in price, and now they're like, oh, we can kind of use this as not just a scapegoat, but we kind of need to do this just to make our money back.
There was, I think it was Tim Geddes on Kind of Funny Games Daily. I think he did talk about how like there is also maybe a world where like PlayStation could play the game of we're just going to keep raising console prices in other countries and just leave it in America as is until until you can like counterbalance it, because like as Jack said, PlayStation consoles have went up in other countries like a billion times. Like this isn't something new. It would just be very new in America, and as Americans, most of us as Americans here, that's the market we look to the most. So like that's just us being
Yeah.
selfish, but like at the end of the day, that is another scenario where PlayStation could like target other countries outside of America and be like, hey, we're gonna raise this again here so that the American market can stay at baseline.
Yeah.
Is that fair? No, but it's a strategy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I think it's just a question of like, do you kind of take the hit for what is effectively the biggest market in the world?
Yeah.
Or do you just say, hey, we need to raise prices all around the place? I am more of the mind that I do think the price raise does happen in the US. I just wonder by how much.
The PS5 Pro is gonna be $1,000.
Oh my god, dude. That I mean, theoretically that would be an $800 console. You could buy, if the rumored like GTA 6 being $100 is real, it's like, damn, you get for almost $1,000 you can get a PS5 Pro with GTA 6. That's fucked. Yeah. So prices going up as per usual in the games industry. And another sadly usual thing in the games industry is legacy outlets going down. Wario64 brought this up. Giant Bomb content is currently on hold while fandom engages in a strategic reset and realignment of our media brands. Dan Riker and Jeff Grubb have departed. Mike Minotti will no longer contribute to Giant Bomb. So Giant Bomb currently seems to be effectively dead. And then also we had this from VGC from Jordan Midler. Polygon has been sold off to Valnet with the majority of staff laid off. Former Polygon editor-in-chief Chris Plant took to social media to confirm that he is no longer working with the outlet, which was founded in 2012. And lots of people got laid off and removed from Polygon. It's sadly like a pretty common story now in the games industry. I will say the Giant Bomb one was a lot more surprising. I think Polygon, we were talking about this before the podcast Fusion, you thought Polygon was already gone, which is kind of sad to say the least. Like, that we just assume that these outlets don't exist anymore. But I don't know. Giant Bomb, that one's sad because it's like, I wasn't really the biggest Giant Bomb fan, but I at least like, they were a legacy outlet in the sense that they were always there. And there was always the GB at E3, GB at night. And they always did these like couch specials. And there was always like their Game of the Year deliberations, which would go on for multiple days. Like, that type of stuff was always fun. That Giant Bomb was always kind of there, to just see them go away because of what is effectively upper management pissing themselves is absolutely fucking maddening and insane that this whole thing would happen. So yeah, it's really rough right now in the media landscape. Hopefully Slice of Gaming pulls through, guys. All right, that's all.
We might have layoffs. We might have let Jack go.
No.
Polygon has contacted me. Gave me some offers.
I mean, it's rough, yeah, but I don't know if you guys have too much to say about this.
Not necessarily. It's like it's just again another thing in the industry where it's like when the games aren't selling and the consoles aren't selling, then it doesn't just affect us as players, it affects these journalists and people who work in the industry, because you need a growing industry for everyone to grow together. And once the industry is not growing and is in a very negative light, you get a lot of these things where these outlets like Polygon are just like, they have to lay people off. They have to go, because if no one's playing games, no one's clicking articles, no one's watching videos. Like, it all comes through and through, where it just sucks when at the end of the day, we just need good games and we need games to sell well.
Yep, exactly. Pretty rough. It really sucks. I have heard they're Giant Bomb. They're a lot of those members are going off and doing their own thing. At least it's kind of being worked on right now, which is exciting. Which I hope goes well, because I love Jeff Grubb. I value his input in the industry a lot. Speaking of Jeff Grubb, he brings up something. Hey, Fusion, another week, another Titanfall 3 cancellation.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Respawn, they put up this big post that's way too fucking long. It's word salad. I'm not reading the whole thing. But basically about cancellations and people being laid off. And Jeff Grubb tweeted this out. That Steve Fukuda project is in the bin, laying off a ton of people. There is no Titanfall 3, as this should make clear. I don't think people realize just how much EA Football Club and Apex Legends missed last year. Dragon Age isn't even a factor compared to those two. And then also, Jason Schreier brings this up. He wrote a whole article, but the main point here is Electronic Arts is laying off between 300 and 400 staff, including around 100 at Respawn, and canceling a Titanfall extraction shooter that was in early development, according to people familiar. We talked about this a few weeks ago, about these Titanfall 3 rumors that were immediately shut down, but it was that thing of like, yeah, there is like kind of like an incubation project being worked on within Respawn. And that just doesn't exist anymore. It seems like they're completely removing any type of incubation projects within Respawn, laying down off the staff and effectively saying, hey, Respawn is going to be working on Apex Legends and the Jedi series for what is effectively going to be quite a while, it seems. Fusion, I know you got a lot of thoughts. I'm interested to hear how you're feeling.
Yeah, I love Respawn. Like, Respawn's one of my favorite teams in the industry, so like it just sucks to see a lot of people losing their jobs, and like there's not, like, we've done this whole layoff spiel about 1 billion times on this podcast, so there's nothing else I can say to be like make a difference, but it just sucks, and hopefully they can all find other outlets and get jobs again. Like, hopefully they're not unemployed for too long. But from a game perspective, yeah, it sucks that another Titanfall type thing project was canned. Granted, it's like it sounded like it was a extraction shooter type thing, which is I didn't want. So like, if this was the route, if it was either no Titanfall or this, I probably would have taken no Titanfall. Honestly, like, if I'm not getting a Titanfall game without a campaign, like, if my next Titanfall game needs to have a campaign, or I don't care. Now, I'm granted multiplayer. Like, if it's just classic Titanfall multiplayer, I will be excited. But like, I want more Titanfall because of how good Titanfall 2's campaign was. From a perspective of Respawn now basically being kind of like a licensed company, like their mainly big thing is they're working on Star Wars, and then they have Apex, which, like, at this point, Apex Legends, like, it has substantially went down in player count. Like, it needs a rebound, and they're already like planning the rebound next year. Like, they said 2026 was going to be like the 2.0, like they're calling it 2.0 or whatever they're calling it. They're making a big deal about Apex next year, which is like they have to at this point, because Apex player count is plummeting. Like, it's not nearly as strong as it ever was. So they have to pivot somewhere there. Jedi, I love the Jedi games. Like, I really do like those Star Wars games, but like, I also don't want to Respawn to only put out a new Star Wars game every 3 to 4 years, and that's all we get from them. One of my favorite things about Respawn is they've just done so many different things, and they have so much talent there, and they have so many different studios inside of Respawn that I feel like they could get away with making multiple projects at once. But as we've seen the last year or 2 years, most of these projects can't get out the door. Like, they get canceled before they even get a trailer. So it's like, maybe they have to, like, something starts at the top of, hey, maybe we have to like cut down on these projects, and that's what they're doing. But I hope this doesn't stop them from still trying to create new things and not just becoming a Star Wars and Apex company.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, they are such a, like, they did that Medal of Honor game, like that VR game a few years back. they're very versatile and like fascinating studio within the EA fold that like yeah, letting them do weird shit and like kind of experiment is so awesome. But now it kind of seems like we're in an industry where it's like, no, taking those bets is actually way too dangerous. We got to go with the safe stuff. And sadly, the safe stuff is Jedi, which, I do enjoy the Jedi games too, just like you. But the other one is Apex, which has been going down. It keeps like missing. Like it keeps missing not even financial quarters, but also just fan wise, people are like, man, these games this game kind of sucks now. And I don't know. It's like as a Respawn fan, it's like rough to be in that space and just realize it's like, yeah, they're not gonna be doing weird, cool shit all the time as they used to.
Even that one canceled game from last year was another Star Wars project. Like, how much Star Wars did Respawn have going on? Like, at this point, we know there was at least 3 or 4 different Star Wars projects happening all at once. It's like, I understand they have done really well from, as far as I know, maybe Jack can comment more because he actually watches Star Wars, but like, the Jedi games are like pretty good. Like, from a Star Wars fan base, people love them. So like, Star Wars as an IP has been like in good hands with Respawn, but like, how many different Star Wars things did they actually need?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's just kind of weird to oversell on an IP so much. But even then, it's like I feel like that would have worked. That would have made money, and it's like just to completely can that, which it seems like it was in pretty close to release. Maybe not close to release, but at least close to reveal. It just feels like such a strange decision. I don't know. What are your guys' takes on what Grub was saying about EA Football Club and Apex missing last year? It seems like EA is really taking the hit on those, and it is so funny when people say it's like how big of a catastrophic failure Dragon Age was, when to EA's eyes it's like it's whatever, like it missed, but we could kind of afford that miss compared to how badly FC did.
Yeah, you can't have your like world-renowned soccer game miss the mark. Like, that's something that year after year they're able, just like Call of Duty, just like Madden, like things like that, they're able to put those games out there and be like, hey, this is guaranteed money. Like every year around the same time, we're going to bring in billions of dollars from these projects. But it's like, it's starting to miss the mark. I don't know if it's a whole thing where like, it feels like we got the same conversation last year. It almost feels like every year since they've taken FIFA out of the title, we've gotten some type of report of the game not selling as well. I don't know if people are really like just not seeing the word FIFA there anymore and they're not buying it. But
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a good chunk, because we all know the people who buy, especially the people that buy those games every year, that's what they look for.
Yeah, so I could 100% see that.
But like it changed the name last year though.
That's what I mean. But and then I'm saying, I think we got a similar report last year talking about like it didn't sell as good as it normally does. So like, I'm not saying it's because they took FIFA out of the name, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a couple thousand people out there who just like, they don't see the FIFA name anymore, or like if you're a parent and you're just buying like soccer for your kid every Christmas or every year and there's no FIFA on the shelf anymore, but they're probably not even going to think twice. They're not going to look at EAFC and be like, oh, that's just FIFA. They're going to instead get them something like Madden because they know this Madden, or NBA 2K because they know this the brand of NBA 2K.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's completely fair. And I do wonder maybe also like the amount of like diminishing returns now we're starting to see from these yearly sports releases. Maybe it is reaching a point where people are like, I'm fine with the 2K I have now. I'm fine with the football club I have now, whatever it's called. That type of thing. Maybe that's a factor in what's going on. Which, hey, that's a W for me. I hate those games. So, but also, I mean, I say how much I hate those like yearly sports releases and like kind of their toxic nature. At the end of the day, they kind of are important for just giving EA that safety bed, where they make so much money that they are willing to kind of take a risk on something like an EA original, and say, you know what, yeah, we can front the cash because FC or like FIFA is always doing well for us.
Yeah, I think it is pivotal to Ubisoft, to EA. Granted, Ubisoft doesn't really do sports, but like,
yeah,
it is pivotal to these companies for their sports games, their yearly things. Just like it was for Activision and Call of Duty, and just like it is now for Xbox Call of Duty, your yearly releases has to bring in the money. Like they have to be your cash cows that now you can make other projects and not be so worried about losing on investment because you have a FIFA every year, you have a Madden, you have a Call of Duty. So like even if you're not a fan of these sports games, like you should want them to succeed year after year.
Yeah, no, you're fair. That's right, completely right. We will see. Hopefully, at the very least, like maybe they spend a bit more time to make them better and like not just release another FC and it's kind of ass. It's like, okay, what did people dislike? Let's try to like figure that out. But yearly releases are always such a tough bargain.
Yeah, they definitely they could make the games better. That's for sure.
Yeah, really. Moving into some smaller topics, a lot of like little news stories. This one broke today. Warrior 64 about this. Apparently, Yuji Horii confirmed Chrono Trigger remake during an interview at Comic-Con Naples. He then said through translator, "You have heard nothing," after apparently realizing what just happened. I feel like we kind of knew that a Chrono Trigger HD 2D was going to be happening for a while. Jack, we kind of talked about this on our predictions, but I guess I'm pretty confident. It's like whatever the next Nintendo Direct is, I'd assume that's when we eventually get that thing revealed.
Yeah, I thought we'd seen it at the Switch reveal, but there were that many third parties buying for a spot. I'm still wondering if we're going to get a partner show at some point, or maybe it'll just wait until like the June Direct.
Yeah, maybe like something like in May, just before the Switch 2 comes out, just to get partners to show off their stuff. Yeah,
I suppose I suppose they also like reveal Bravely Default, and maybe they're thinking, oh, we can't possibly reveal 2 remakes, remasters of old games, so we'll wait until Bravely Default's out. And I don't know, you know what Square's like? They just
they're
pull
very
decisions
weird.
out of their ass.
The Square is like, I don't know, you can never predict them. But yeah, they have that Bravely Default game. Maybe they don't want Chrono Trigger to kind of step on its feet. So it's like, okay, let's wait till that's out. And that's a launch title. So maybe it's like that very first direct, like post-launch will be, hey, here's Chrono Trigger HD 2D now. And it's coming out this holiday or something. Real quick, I forgot. We didn't even mention this during the GTA 6 thing. We're going to get so many release dates now. That is like, we're going to get a comical amount of release dates shown off and talked about in the next coming weeks now that GTA 6, that demon has left kind of like these publishers' eyes.
That is the one silver lining is I'm so excited for like all the release, especially with like Summer Games Pass, a PlayStation State of Play most likely coming up, like the Xbox show. Like there's going to be a lot within the next month where we already know a decent amount of 2025 slated games, but they were also scared. Like I'm pretty sure Ninja Gaiden 4 still has to get a release date. Like there's so many games where it's like they were all slated for 2025, but they were all sitting on GTA. And the fact that GTA now moves, like you said, we should get like 40 new release dates for the rest of the year. And the year we've already had is looking insane. And there's still plenty of games dated, like Death Stranding 2, like Ghost of GOTY, that like this year is just really awesome, honestly. So it's like we might lose GTA, but it feels like we're still getting something back.
Yeah, 100%. And in speaking of like games doing well, you know, to kind of get some positive news out there, we got some sales and player count numbers. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has sold 1 million copies, Warrior 64 puts on Twitter, and then quotes from the developer, this number includes units shipped to retailers and does not encompass our awesome Game Pass players. Moon, they called you awesome.
I'm awesome.
Hey, that's me as well.
All right. Let's calm down, Fusion. All right. You're a Game Pass hater. Genki also posted this. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has reached over 120,000 concurrent players on Steam. I will also just say from personal experience, a lot of my friends who are not like, they're hardcore gamers, but they're not like us, like in the podcast sphere and like yapping and shit. They were talking about this game and they were asking us like, "Oh, this game looks kind of heat." And like I had a lot of like just people in personal life. It's like, "Yo, this game looks interesting," and it seems like it's kind of broken into the mainstream.
I think it has, and it's going to be interesting to see because especially a lot of mainstream they hate turn-based games. Like that's just something that will immediately be a turn-off. You said turn-based. I'm going to be shocked. Or I guess not shocked, but like I'm gonna be interested in how many players jump into this because this turn-based is so like interactive and so different. They enjoy this, and then they think this is how turn-based games are nowadays, and then they go to other ones. They're like, wait, no, like this isn't actually how turn-based is right now.
What if they go from this to Paper Mario to Super Mario RPG, and they're like, "Damn, turn-based has really gotten better in the last few years. We could actually interact with it."
Yeah, like it will be because, like you said, it has hit the mainstream. Like I have even some of my friends who aren't as big. This would never be on their radar. They're like, "What's up with this game?" I'm like, "This game's really good." Like it feels like it's hitting all the marks at the moment.
Yeah, shout out to that team, Sandfall Interactive, brand new team, man. Their first game. Shout out to them.
1 million players already is crazy. Sales because like I'm gonna bring it up just because it's Remedy and I love Alan Wake 2, but like it took Alan Wake 2 so long, so
Yeah.
long to hit this number. And I get like horror that's like not as popular, but like to see Claire Obscure come out their first game and already hit that is very impressive.
Another game that's doing very impressively right now, Oblivion Remastered. My addiction. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered set a new peak of 205,000 concurrent players on Steam, also on Game Pass. That's Okami Games who posted that. Yeah, no, I mean, we also got that story last week about it hitting 4 million players. It's doing pretty well. It seems like it was that case of we were talking about how, which game is going to kind of suffer from the side of the other one. It seems like both Oblivion and Claire Obscure are doing well, and neither one buried each other, which is exciting.
That is exciting to see that. And to be honest, this is like I know Oblivion was gonna do well, but it's more players than I expected already, which is like good for Bethesda, good for them. Like
it was definitely like as you noticed in if you watched our most anticipated, where I'm like, I'm really gunning for this game. I hope it's a great success, and I felt like this has a really good chance of being really good and review well, but I wasn't expecting this good of reviews and this big of an audience, and so it's blowing everything out of the water.
Oh, you mean Claire Obscure, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was confused.
Oh, I mean Oblivion too. Oblivion's still doing good too, because I think for a long time we all thought it was like, oh, it's just gonna be a simple like remaster, just some better textures, and that's about it.
Yeah, I was shocked that I am still shocked they don't call it a remake because it is effectively a remake.
Kind of makes me angry.
The agenda that Final Fantasy has ruined the word remake.
Yeah, I guess because like it makes me so mad that they don't call it a remake. But
yeah. And then another game that's doing just a small sales update. Elden Ring has shipped over 30 million copies. God bless. I'm so happy this game would mainstream because it's like, yes, it deserves it. It's good.
Really good for it. What was does that mean? How much did it sell that first year? Was it 20 million, 25 mil?
I think first year was 15 to 20 million. Around
that. Because it'd just be interesting to see like how many of those sales were in the last 3 years or the last 2 years, I guess.
Yeah, no, I assume like about 10 million were in the last couple of years. So it has a tail. I don't know if you guys noticed, it rarely goes on sale. So like it's still selling for like pretty much full price, or at the very least like $40.
Yeah, I hit 25 million in June of last year. So another 5 million a year. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, it's continuously does well. It's one of those games that's like always on the sales charts. And now we're getting to release dates. This is for Jack, Sea of Stars. Throes? I've never seen that word. Throes of the Watchmaker free DLC releasing on May 20th. Over 8 hours of completely new areas, music, dungeon, mini games, enemies, bosses, and puzzles. New playable classes for Valere? Jack, help me out. Come on, man.
Call it Val.
Val. All right. For Val and Zale, new playable character Artie, and local co-op with up to 3 players. Jack, I know you're very excited for this one.
I'm not a big DLC fan. I very, very rarely play DLC, but Sea of Stars is one of my favorite games. Like in the last few years, it's great. So yeah, I don't know. I make exceptions, and this is definitely one of them. I've been looking forward to this. I'm surprised it's a free one, but it has been like forever since it came out. So maybe this will just get people to jump back in, which. I mean, I'm going to do because it's post-game, I'm going to have to replay the game if I want to play the DLC, but so be it.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't know why it's free. That feels like such a miss, in my opinion. It's the thing with Shovel Knight, where they kept doing free updates, and those were Kickstarter goals, sure, but I'm always like, how are you guys? Are you guys okay? Like I don't want to see a news story in the next like year or so where it's like, oh, Sabotage is going through like restructuring and layoffs because of money. It's like, damn, you really should have charged for that DLC. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's just like, hey, from the goodness of their heart. And also, it's just a case of like, yeah, it gets more like new players in, so they're still gonna make their money back.
I could see it as their approach is like, we're gonna make this thing free, so like now new players who've never played the game at all will be like, hey, I can get this game now, and it has 8 hours of free DLC on top of whatever I'm already paying. Like, that's nice for a new player.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if, like, behind the scenes, Xbox renewed the because it's still on Game Pass. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Xbox kept renewing the deal. So now that the DLC is coming, they'll get a spike of players. So kind of benefits both of them.
Wish PlayStation would give them some money because it's not on PlayStation Plus anymore. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's weird. It got removed from Extra like what, this year?
Yeah, not too long ago, and that's the thing where it's like that's how I played it. That's where when I played it, like that's how. So like, I'm with Jack where like it takes a lot for me to go back to DLC, and like I necessarily wasn't going to go back to this one. But if it was a case where it was still on PlayStation Plus and I could just go back to that and do it, I probably would have checked this out. But like, I don't know if I'm going to buy the game again, even though I should. They're an indie and I should support them. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to necessarily buy the entire game again just to enjoy this DLC.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, Fusion, that's exactly how I feel about Lies of P with the Overture.
Yeah,
Where it's
I'm
like,
the
I
same
want
way.
to
Yeah,
check that out, but I bought that at Game. I played it through Game Pass, and I don't know. I don't think it's on Game Pass anymore.
Yeah, but Fusion, they've released a physical since then.
I know that is something that does get me interested. If I can get a physical,
Is it limited
I'm way more likely to get a physical and then just play it that way.
Yeah, no, I want to get to that game eventually because it does look really cool, and I love that Paper Mario combat.
It's so awesome. I love that game.
Moving into a news story that when I first read the news story, I got so excited, and then I saw the new release date. So, Lost Soul Aside has been delayed. I read that part. I'm like, yes. Thank God it's not coming out the same day as Night Rain. I am so excited for this game, but I wasn't going to play it over a new FromSoft game. So I'm like, okay, now I can finally play this game. Delayed to August 29th, 2025. Guess what's coming out that day, boys? Or at least the day before, I think. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Hey,
it doesn't want me to play it.
Shout out Shinobi, man.
Yeah, and Shinobi. Already, fuck that day. Fuck that whole like 2-day span. That is evil. They specifically are targeting me because it's like what? All 3 of these games that I've been massively anticipating for a long time, especially Metal Gear and Lost Soul Aside, and Shinobi. You know what? All 3 of them. I want to play all 3 of those games so badly, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna all drop on the same day." It's like, fuck you, man.
I guess you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this is a worse date.
Yes,
Truthfully,
easily.
like I think like Elden Ring Night Rain is for like those multiplayer Night Rain fans. Like people are going to play it, but like more people I feel like are going to care. Like if you're someone who's playing Lost Soul Aside, I don't feel like you're playing Night Rain, but you might be playing Metal Gear or Shinobi.
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I agree. I think Lost Soul Aside and Night Rain kind of share player bases. They're both like action.
Okay, that's fair. I guess you might be right.
I thought you said worst date for me. I'm like, yeah.
Oh no, I meant just for the public.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing: it's also a bad release date. Was July isn't everyone just not want to release games in July? Like, what is this deal?
The scared of Tony Hawk.
Oh, God forbid. Jack, I know you're excited for this game. This diminish sure get you more excited.
It does diminish it a little bit because it's when I'm going to be busy with Shinobi. I get why they didn't push it back even further. I mean, they obviously assumed that another certain game was coming out in the holiday, which isn't. So, yeah, I get it, but it's just seeing a delay for a game that's been like teased since 2016 stings a little bit.
Yeah, no, dude. This is what I mean. I'm not joking. Like, I have been waiting for this game since like what 2018, 2019, and like I wanted this for so long. And the fact is, it keeps putting its date right on top of another thing I care way more about. It's like, God damn it! How does that keep happening?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing because like if it had come out on 30th, I probably would have been able to play it day one. Whereas now it's like I'll just play it when I find the time.
Exactly, right there with you. Last news story. This is a quick one. Challenge.
As we were
Oh,
saying
sorry,
with like
go ahead.
GTA, it'd be interesting to see if some dates actually do make some drastic changes because it's an obvious like, yeah, so GTA is no longer looming over our head. Here's like a 2-week push or something like that.
Yeah,
But I'm
October
gonna be
maybe
just the
comes out.
downer for a second. It's like I do not see. Okay, more like I don't understand the hype for Lost Soul-Aside. Like, I'm not saying I'm thinking it's gonna be a bad game, but I don't see where this giant, like, ecstatic for it is. I don't know. Something about it to me just screams we're gonna have some really cool combat, but it's gonna be a very hollow game. I don't know why I get that feeling from this.
I it's more so just like we've waited for it for so long, and like it just looked immediately interesting. And you talk to the developer, and he was very much like inspired by Final Fantasy 15 in a big way, and not even 15 specifically versus 13, which is what 15 became. And like I love just the look of it, and I am always a sucker for these action games. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I think it's one of those things where on first glance, a lot of people would just think like, "What's special about this?" And it's like, I think honestly, what's weird is it's special because it's just been waiting so long, and it's made by a solo developer.
Yeah,
But
Like-
I don't know. It's like
I don't know. This thing just screams like 79 to me, 78.
yeah,
And
maybe I don't
that's
know.
higher than I thought it was gonna be. So.
What, Fusion? You want to say something too?
No, you know my opinion on this game. Like I think in concept it looks good, but I'm with Moon where it's like I feel like it's going to look way cooler than it actually plays. Like I'm not truly convinced where like it's either going to be the next Black Myth Wukong or it's going to
Oh,
be
God.
something substantially not as good.
You know, that's exactly what it is. Black Myth Wukong had like the same vibe to me. I'm just like, this looks visually impressive. The combat looks good, but no one's talking about Wukong's story or characters or anything like that. So this feels kind of like the next Wukong in a lot of ways.
Don't say Wukong, no. You guys gotta say. Why didn't you say Stellar Blade Fusion for like a good comparison? You know my thoughts on Wukong.
Yeah, but Stellar Blade like felt bigger budget than Lost
Yeah,
Soul
fair
Aside.
enough.
And Stellar Blade does have a bit of a story. Granted, I was let down by the story, but it had something resembling a story. This still doesn't feel like it.
I stopped paying attention to the story in Stellar Blade so quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
for sure.
I guess it's like I don't know. But I guess my excitement just comes down to like I do have faith after all this time that it's gonna be a fun time. But yeah, I don't know. Like 7980, it's like
Oh, I'm sure
that's
I'm
kinda
sure
what
the
I
game
want.
I'm sure the game itself will be good. Like it'll be fun to play. So we're just gonna have to get in the mindset of this is the next Wukong. This is the next Stellar Blade, where you're just here for the combat and nothing else.
No
And it's a
game
very
should
pretty
ever-
looking game.
I never want to put that on a game's faith that it should be the next Wukong. Oh god.
Hey, Wukong won a game of the year.
Hey,
No,
Respect
it
that.
didn't.
exactly.
Because the fucking like 80 million Chinese players played it. That was the only game they played, so they voted for it.
Yes.
Jack,
Lost Soul Aside would be lucky.
I will say, Jack, Jack. You brought up something really funny where it's like, I think you said you would be more interested if it was like in the 60s than if it was in the 70s. Which honestly, I think I'm with you.
Dude, that's where I think it was score in the 60s.
I listen, just make it stand out a little more.
I'm with
Like
you.
you guys talk about the story and everything, and it's just like if this game has like a story, I will actually be disappointed. It will just get in the way.
Yo, that's my goat for a reason.
It should just be a
Hell
boss
yeah.
rush. Just make a boss rush.
Oh
game.
yes.
That's what I'm saying. Hell yeah. Get rid of the funky ass story. Speaking of lame looking action games, Xbox posted this. Wuchang Fallen Feathers is coming July 24th, play day 1 on Game Pass. This was that what's it called? Souls like that was kind of shown off last year. I'd say I was really interested in it initially, and then like previews came out and everyone was like, so it kind of
I haven't
lost
even
a lot
seen
of
the
hype for
previews.
me. I know Andy from Kind of Funny played in. He's like the Souls like guy, and he was like, it's kind of mid. Which I don't know. Maybe we'll see when the game comes out. It's actually a banger, but I don't know. It's like right now I'm kind of like whatever on it. Moving into reviews of the week, there are none. because all the games came out last week. So now we're gonna jump right into what we've been playing. I'll go first because I'm the only one playing this. You guys fucking suck. Oblivion remake, boys. You guys ever have an addiction?
Yeah, a lot of them. I have an addictive personality, so yeah.
Have you ever had in 1 week 50 hours on Oblivion?
No, I guess I have.
Oh god.
No.
Yeah, so I've been knee deep into this game in such a major way. I don't know if I have too much more to add on from what I said last week, other than this game is fucking huge and I'll be playing it for way longer than even I expected. I'll put it this way. I'm 50 hours in and I haven't even started like half the faction quests. And it's like, because most of my time has just been me exploring or doing like random side activities and barely even I haven't even touched the DLC, which is also a massive scale in and of itself. I've been obsessed with this game in a way I haven't been with a game in a long time, and it's reminding me how much I love Elder Scrolls specifically as a franchise and just as an IP. And it really comes down to that world is so special. The gameplay is basic, especially in this game. It's very basic, but it works. It's fun enough for what it is. I like swinging my sword. It feels good to swing a sword. And the build crafting and specifically, like I'm going as an assassin and just one-shotting everything with like a one-hit kill dagger is one of the most fun things in any video game. And Elder Scrolls is just really good at that type of like, you create the experience that you want to have. I guess it's just one of those things of like, it's been so long since Skyrim, so just playing some type of new thing Elder Scrolls wise is just inherently more exciting to me. But I'm just like so happy that I can finally play another Elder Scrolls game again, which yes, Oblivion is an old game. It's a 2006 game. But finally getting to play through what is effectively one of my favorite franchises, a new entry, at least to me, is exciting in and of itself. And seriously, this game looks absolutely stunning. Unreal Engine 5 is doing the work now. I will say, criticisms-wise, Unreal Engine 5 is doing the work visually. Unreal Engine 5 is also the most piece of shit engine in the games industry right now, and I'm fucking sick of it. Fusion, we talk about this a lot, but like, I really hate this engine so much. It always stutters. Every single game that is ever released on Unreal Engine 5 has this weird stuttering effect. I don't know if it's possibly ever going to get out of it. I don't know what's wrong with this engine.
It's like the best looking engine when you're not moving. Like if you don't move your character, then you're just looking. I mean, it looks fantastic. You're like, this is as good as it gets. But yeah, the minute you start moving, it's actually weird. Someone just commented that the best like Embark Studios, which have done their newest game is Arc Raiders, which has come out later this year, and then they did the finals. I mean, both of those, as far as I know, are perfect Unreal Engine 5 ports. I mean, perfect, no stutter at all. And I'm like, how is this studio over here, like by themselves, the only ones who have figured it out? Like, get in touch with them and figure it out.
Yeah, the only other like Unreal Engine 5 game that doesn't stutter is Fortnite. And yeah, because it's fucking Fortnite. Like that shouldn't be stuttering. I don't know. I guess it's just like that is my major ding, is the performance has been really rough from that standpoint. I have had a lot of stuttering, which is annoying because this is a remake. It shouldn't be doing all this. But despite all that, it's just good to be back in the Elder Scrolls world. Cyrodiil, that lore, I am just so obsessed with this writing. And I will say, as a Skyrim fanboy, it is it's like in my top 3 favorite games of all time. There are things Oblivion has done better than Skyrim for me so far. Mainly the quest design. The quests in Oblivion are absolutely phenomenal. They have some insane writing. And they also do a lot of really creative things within their quest lines that I think Skyrim was kind of lacking in when it came to the quests. But dungeons and exploration in Skyrim is easily better. Because I will say, one thing with Oblivion is a lot of the dungeons kind of do look the exact same.
I got 2 questions for you.
Yeah,
see if you can answer them. First, as someone who's like not the biggest Bethesda fan, is this remake something where it's like you think I could load this up sometime this year and like thoroughly enjoy my time with it?
Well, you specifically, I don't know. Because I guess I think one thing you'll really appreciate is the writing and kind of that world crafting and like what they do there. But I do think you'll be a little bit averse to like the style of game Bethesda games are, which is very free forming, like everything is kind of janky in a way, but that's kind of what gives them a lot of personality. You're able to like, it's the cool thing is like there's the physics engine that you could just move stuff, whatever. One really cool thing about Bethesda games that I always love is you'll drop an item somewhere, like just some random place in the map, and then come back 30 hours later and the item is still there. So it is just that fully reactive world that like completely understands everything you're trying to do in it at all times. So I do wonder if you're into that type of thing, but I do think the writing and the quest design will get you in.
That's fair. And then my follow up is, as someone who now it's been 2 years since you've played Starfield, and now that you're playing through Oblivion, which is a 20-year-old Bethesda game, does this make you feel any different about Starfield's formula, or like does this have any effect on like, hey, Starfield maybe wasn't as bad as I remember, or hey, Starfield was as bad as I remember, or is it a thing where it's just like, at the end of the day, are you playing through Oblivion? Do you see just like the exact same type of stuff in Starfield, or was Starfield like such a drastic difference and that's why you didn't like it?
Starfield is worse than I remember.
Because of this.
Okay.
Specifically, I mean, here's the thing. You say like it does a lot of things similarly, and like yeah, especially like the way characters move and what I was saying about like the world reactivity. Starfield does have all that, but Starfield does not have the exploration. Starfield does not have this like interesting world like lore or anything. Elder Scrolls lore is fascinating, and there's some really cool shit in it that is so fun to read about. Starfield does not have that. It has a very bland universe, in my opinion, and it has 1,000 planets and 1,000 planets of absolutely nothing. And I feel like I'm not able to get these cool reactive experiences. And one thing that happened in Oblivion that was so cool was this guy. I did a quest for him, and he because I let his sons die, he didn't give me gold, so I killed him. Which is why I love these games. You can be a psychopath, and because I killed him, I went to sleep in a bed and the Dark Brotherhood showed up. Like this guy at a cowl, he just shows up and he's just like, "Oh, you're sleeping soundly for a murderer." It's like, "Oh fuck!" And then he just starts this whole quest line about like being a master assassin, and it's like that's awesome that I just did that because I killed some random guy just like out of nowhere, and it just causes and coalesces into this entire quest line that opens up because I did that.
That sounds really cool. That sounds really. That's the type of things that I'm interested in from the way Bethesda games work. It's like a lot of their other stuff doesn't necessarily like make me interested, but the stories I hear, especially about old Bethesda, about how like some of these stories just like come out of nowhere and like change and adapt with the writing, like that's why I'm interested in the remake.
Yeah, everyone has different stories when they come to these Bethesda games. Like they have different like ways of how they did stuff, and that's just what's so exciting. It's like they're not necessarily the best RPGs if you're looking for like choice and consequence specifically of like, oh, you know, there's multiple endings and like because you said this, there's a whole different thing here. But like it's more so what makes Bethesda games special is there is just this massive world and you can do whatever the fuck you want in it. It's kind of the same reason I love GTA.
Yeah.
And the world reacts to you in Bethesda games. That's the coolest part about them. I hope you check it out eventually, Fusion, because I want to at least like understand if you're into it.
I really do want to check it out. Like I'm even granted before it dropped, like I was like 20% like, oh, I'm interested in this thing. I was not like being a hater, but like again, I'm not the Bethesda guy. Never really have been. I mean, I've put 20, 30, 40 hours into Skyrim multiple times, and like I've never fully clicked with me. I wanted to get into Starfield, but then everyone was saying the exact same things I didn't want to hear. You know what I mean? So it's just like I didn't end up trying it out, and there's still part of me where it's like one day I would like to maybe try Starfield, but once that trailer dropped and like I understood like just the whole like speech, I don't know who the dude's name is, but he was giving over the trailer and like
Uriel Septum.
Yeah, like it just I was like, okay, this world seems super cool, and like the combat seems good enough, like serviceable to the point
good
where
enough, yeah,
exactly. Where I'm not gonna super lose my mind over it. So it's like it's definitely in a weird way. The way Bethesda games are almost the same way like the Kingdom Come Deliverance series is for me, where it's like they're both things I respect, but like I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna lose myself 70 hours into it. But the remaster, being on Game Pass, updated now, Unreal Engine 5, even the stutter mess, like that's definitely an opportunity for me to like jump into Bethesda's games and then like maybe super fall in love with Oblivion, and then that might make me go back to be like, okay, I'm gonna mod the crap out of Skyrim and play this, or I'm gonna check out the Fallout series, which I've up to this date have had zero interest in.
That's
And
crazy.
you know, I mean, I've had zero interest in the Fallout games, but it's like I've owned New Vegas like I've owned most of the Fallouts just sitting on my Steam page, and like I have almost no desire to play them for whatever reason that is. So maybe like Oblivion could get me into that formula.
It is funny. Mods are already out for Oblivion, specifically for stuff like the color palette, because it's very drab. I don't want to say drab, but it's muted in the color scheme, which personally I don't mind because it's a lot more grounded, and I'm more into grounded fantasy than high fantasy. But just some mods came out and like made the colors a lot less saturated. But yeah, check it out, Oblivion Remake. It's on Game Pass. I got the deluxe edition. It's $50 normally, which is like, for a remake like this, it's like you could have charged 60, but no, you said 50. It's like, damn.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very nicely priced. Like this could have easily been a $70 game, and the fact that they put it out for 50 and it's on everything, like on all platforms, good for them.
Yeah, 100%. All right. You guys have all been very knee deep into Clair Obscur. I will let you guys take the stage from here.
I think I'm the furthest. Just the heads up. Let's try to keep this to a minimum because this game is very spoiler heavy. Like it's very easy to spoil this thing. So like I say, let's not go too deep into it. But surface level, because this is the first time I've talked about it, I think on the podcast, is like I'm really enjoying this game. Like I'm enjoying it a lot. Story, combat, especially the combat. Like the combat's even more fun than they like show in any of those trailers. Like I'm obsessed with the combat. I'm obsessed with the systems. And it's like when you make a system inside your combat that's like makes me this obsessed, I know it like is a very good combat system. And the characters super love, runs really great on my PC, like performance wise. It's not the greatest looking game in the world, but it's not bad looking by any means. Like it's a very good looking game. It's just not like your Cyberpunk or Alan Wake or any of those type of games, but like top to bottom, like I'm super enjoying it right now. I'm like 21 hours in. I know Jack, you probably have the least amount of hours out of all of us, I assume. Are you still sticking with it?
Yeah, I'm just I've had a really busy week, so
I just wasn't sure because I remember you posted on Discord that you were like super frustrated with like I don't know if it was the pairing or the combat.
Super frustrated is probably not quite what I was aiming to sound like, but I just there's a lot of skill check enemies in the game, and the game doesn't do a very good job of like telling you which ones are way above your level. So you kind of just have to, it's just trial and error, basically, just seeing if, hey, is this an enemy that I can beat right now, or should I come back later? And there's just a lot of moments like that. So like I'm making a lot of notes to try and remember where a lot of stuff is that I want to go back to, because the game doesn't really have a map or anything. It has like the world map, but there's no way of like finding stuff after you've gone past it without going back, really. So that was where my frustration lied. However, I am like enjoying the game a lot still. I think I'm only 9 hours in. I still haven't even finished Act 1, although I've had a spoiler, so that was fun. But
careful of spoilers.
Yeah, it's my own. That one was my own fault, and then I had it basically confirmed on just by scrolling Twitter, which kind of sucks. But oh well, it is what it is. The music, the visuals, the game itself, it just it's great. I'm really enjoying it. I just don't have that much to say just yet.
I respect it. The music specifically, like I would be shocked if this doesn't end up as an iconic like soundtrack. I mean, it's so good, and it's just so like I immediately hear it, and I'm like, yep, that's Clair Obscur. Like it's just like it's so unique, I guess, also to itself, where it's like I feel like I haven't played many other games ever with this type of soundtrack. So like every time the new music beat comes in, I'm like, yep, it's just as good as all the other tracks they show me. And the fact that they found the guy off of SoundCloud, that's how they've made the soundtrack, is it was some random dude off SoundCloud, is insane.
Can't be making fun of those SoundCloud rappers
anymore. I know, the SoundCloud rappers, they made it out. They made it out of the slums.
It sounds a lot like the case when we found out that the main theme to Bellatra was made by some guy on Fiverr.
Oh yeah, that is very similar. Yeah.
That's so funny. It's great to hear just how like pretty much widely praised this game has been. In a way I was kind of surprised by. I knew the game, like I was kind of with you, Moon, where it was like, yeah, I'm interested in this game. I didn't expect it to blow up, at least like review wise. I was expecting like low to mid 80s, but
Yeah,
to
that's
see
where I
high,
was putting my guesses.
yeah, but see it in the 90s and like pretty much everyone kind of like seeing people say it's their favorite game ever, like Bop over here. Like, listen, it's a little recency bias, but also I'm like, damn, that shows it's like how good the game is then.
I mean, Moon really likes it. It's like you said it would be in like right now your top 10.
That's more of like a joke of how shaky my top 10 is.
No.
Like, I don't know what my top 10 is, but I think by the end, because of just how many good things it has going for it, I could see it. It has a possibility as, I mean, it's definitely like within my top 25. My top 25 is in shambles. Like, I try to make a top 25 and I get to like the last five. And I'm like, do I actually like this game enough to list it? But at least now I'll have a game of, yeah, I actually really do like this game. My gripes with it are very small. They're very nitpicky. They could even be things that they patch in at a later time. Like if there is such a call for like some kind of map or system to go back, they like this would be a lot better. Again, that is my problem right now is my need to just do everything in an area is so thrown off course because there is no map, there is no way of checking stuff to be like, okay, well, I can go back and check this later. It's like, no, once I'm done with this area, I'm kind of done with it. And I was like, as much as I want to go back, I possibly can't. There's also like this one other thing that's kind of annoying me. And I hate games that do this is they give you something and you can't get through it because you don't have an ability or an item or something. And you have to come back for it later. It's like, no, by the time I get that ability to do it, I'm not going to remember this. So
Yeah.
it makes replayability. I know I'm the opposite. Like to me, to someone else, that probably says like, "Oh, that's perfect for a replay. I'll be able to go do this and that, or a new game plus kind of thing." Like, no, I don't. I want to do everything I possibly can in a first try. So the fact that you're blocking me from doing this thing, from going and doing this, because I saw like a spoiler. It's not even a spoiler. I was looking up how to do a puzzle, and I found an item listed in the video. I'm like, oh, I would really like that Pictos or whatever the thing is called for my build. But no, it's behind a block that I can't break because I don't have the ability to break it. I'm like, well, I guess I'm never getting that ability now. So
I'm with you in that way where it's like I'm not going to replay. Like I don't replay games like that. Like so I'm not to that level, but it's also I know we talked about it. Like when the game dropped, this game would I feel like benefit a lot from like a South of Midnight type system where if I press the right stick in, you tell me the path I need to go for the story. So then I know I can take all the opposite paths and do all the extra stuff and not have to worry about missing things and having to come back.
I also get so lost, like because as beautiful and great and interesting as each world is, when you're actually like running around through it and you're like, well, okay, I think this might be the story path. Here's another path that's off to the side here. I was like, I'm gonna get myself turned around and lost multiple times before I find my way back to the point where I think the story is. So yeah, some kind of like, here's the story. Now granted, they did do that kind of because when you actually go into the world map, they do in certain points of the story, it does tell you, well, here's this city or this location that you need to go to. So it's off in this general direction. But it's of course it's one of those maps that doesn't give you details like, okay, well, this way you try to look at the map and you're like, okay, I could walk this way, but like, no, there's something blocking that because of course I have to take the long way around. It'd be nice if it would tell you that, or at least hint that the main path is blocked. You got to go a long way around. It's just, and I think this was definitely deliberate because I remember that quote for them saying that we don't have like a mini map. We want players just explore and get lost, which I admire for the sense of when I actually do wander off the path and I do find some item that's seems off the beaten path, so maybe not everyone's going to get this. I feel kind of special, like, hey, I took the time to go walk over here, but then I take the next 5 minutes to find my way back. There was this one point in a very early area. I don't think this would even be a spoiler, but it's where that old farm town city was, like an abandoned farm, and it was I found some path off to the right, and it was like by going off that path, I went so far off the beaten path that I ended up back in like the previous location, like the next part of that like the previous part of that location. So I took probably a whole 10 minutes just to walk back, just because I went to go talk to this trader guy, and the item he had wasn't even really that good. So I was just annoyed at that. But I like that it exists, but I just wish it was just done a little bit better, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if you
Yeah.
complete an area, give me a map of it so I can go and see, like, what did I miss? What can I go get if I did decide to go back into that area? Like, what's the place called? Like the field? I can't remember. It's just called the Fields or the Stoneside Cliffs. Let's use that one. The Stoneside Cliffs. Like, as soon as you beat that area, give me the map and show, like, okay, well, you didn't take this path, you didn't take this path, and like, so it would like almost entice me to go back to that location and be like, maybe I'll go back and spend some time collecting the stuff that I missed.
That would definitely be helpful. Even if I'm surprised more games don't do it, where it's just like Assassin's Creed, for example, that I just played. They have the way where in your settings you can do like full exploration mode or a more guided mode, where like if just give the player the choice, they'd be like, I'm gonna put a map on or I'm not gonna put a map on. You know what I mean? Like give the player the choice where like some players might like a map, like might like the mini map. Other players might not want to put a mini map on, but at least you give the players the choice. So like it's the best of both worlds. That's one thing I really do appreciate from Assassin's Creed. Where like I like the exploration of Assassin's Creed where it just tells me 3 basic things and I got to figure it out. But I know plenty of players would rather it just be marked on your map, and Assassin's Creed gives you that chance to pick one or the other.
And I think my other small complaint, and I think most people have said this, is the whole managing the Pictos and the Lumina stuff. That's a UI disaster.
It is. That's my my most critique right now is like the UI could use a lot of work. Like it could use a decent amount of work.
And it's like I think I'm starting to finally get it, but it becomes almost a chore at a point where I get to a certain point in my playthrough. I'm like, okay, I picked up some new Pictos. I've mastered some new things to have them as Lumina. So now I have to like set aside 5-10 minutes to go into the menus and just like reorganize all of them because like I want to do this kind of build, I want to try this out, and so I'm constantly going back. So instead of playing the game, I'm playing management sim, going into the menus and figuring out, okay, I'll have this ability on this character, have this ability here, I'll use this as a Lumina, and I'll have this ability directly on that because there's like bonuses to have the direct Pictos on a character and not just a Lumina. So now I'm looking at that too. So it's like, do people get enjoyment out of this? I think there is, because otherwise they wouldn't do it. And it must be like an older school RPG thing of just playing management sim with abilities and items and stuff. That is my other like really small complaint, nitpicky, is the weapons system doesn't seem as robust as I hoped. Like it seems very straightforward, which I guess is a good thing because I'm already playing management sim with the abilities. I don't need to be organizing weapons and stats on that too. But when you actually like get down into it and you get that perfect build that you really like, it is great. But I'm just kind of annoyed that it does take so long and almost like spreadsheet. You need to bust out a spreadsheet to be like, hey, what do I want to do? Because another interesting thing is that whole Lumina system where you can assign points to a certain character. I've been pretty not sparse, but like I've been spreading my Lumina evenly across everybody, so everyone has like the same amount. But you really could just put it all on one character, and that one character just has like a million abilities. So it is interesting that you have that option. So I don't know. It definitely feels like a thing where they said, yeah, we're gonna make this 30-hour game, but we made it 30 hours because there's like this a million ways you can replay this, and I know there's gonna be sickos who do that.
Yeah, I think the systems, I'm actually really, like, even though I do have some of the same frustrations with you where the systems can be overwhelming, I am impressed with, like, how deep they thought about the systems and how you can do so many different builds. And my playthrough could look totally different from your playthrough just from a build perspective. And, like, there's a lot, and I don't think there needed to be as much as there is, but I still respect them making the system as important as advertised.
Yeah.
This game's Unreal Engine 5, right?
I don't think so.
I
mean,
know
could be wrong.
everyone's complaining there's no HDR, but I don't know if it's Unreal Engine. Hold on, let me Google it real quick.
You do that because I heard there was some issues performance-wise.
There is some like weird performance.
Oh, it is
The biggest-
Unreal Engine 5. It is. I've ran into 0 stutters in this game, so that shocks me.
Okay, well there you go. There's the other
Yeah.
game with no Unreal Engine.
I didn't even
5.
think about that. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I've ran into like 0 performance issues personally.
Yeah, it's not a really performance issue, but there's just like there's obviously like smaller studio bugs to it. Not even bugs, but Like everyone complains about the hair looking digitally, and the hair doesn't look fantastic, at least in some shots. And of course the lip sync is pretty horrendous. And
Maybe
I actually did run into a bug on the world map, which was kind of funny. There's this part where you're trying to walk along, but normally you're blocked by a forest. But my character started walking over the forest like they were like skywalking over the trees, and I would get to the other end of the mountains of where the forest was, but I couldn't go any further than that. I was like there was like an invisible wall there, but I was able to like just float over this forest, and I'm like, am I supposed to be able to do this? But once I went into a battle, came back to the world map, I couldn't do it again. So yeah, it was definitely a bug of me just being able to go over this forest that I wasn't supposed to be able to. It was kind of funny.
maybe the secret to no stutter is like no HDR. You can still have HDR in your game, but you don't stutter on Unreal Engine 5. I don't know.
It is kind of surprising there's no HDR just because of how good it looks. Like, imagine if this did have HDR. But now we're saying, maybe you'll start stuttering if it does.
The stutter doesn't show up until HDR shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to hear you guys like so high on it. I know like everyone's been super raving about the combat, how it's very Sekiro like, which is big words to evoke.
The counters are just like the best thing because they feel just like that action movie thing that you always imagine yourself, and it's like I'm gonna do this amazing counter. It's like block and strike back. It's like it's everything you like imagine in like your daydreams that it would be. They're just so dynamic and cinematic.
I'm gonna make a super bold prediction, and maybe it's not that bold. And we're so early in the year, but this will be Soggy's Game of the Year.
Oh
With
yeah, I already
GTA
accepted that.
With GTA out of the way, it's possible.
It's going to be this.
It was good knowing you, Oblivion. Yeah, I was fighting for a remake. I mean, I don't know. The only other thing is Death Stranding 2, and Bob doesn't like PlayStation, so it's all right. This is an Xbox Game Pass game, so it has more of a chance.
Yeah. Or Xbox bias over here. Or Hi-Fi Rush, or first winner ever.
Yeah, we still need a Nintendo game to win.
Yeah, no, we need.
True,
a
I
Nintendo
mean,
game.
Mario
And then
Kart,
not
I don't know.
anything. Pokemon Legends, let's go.
I love Mario Kart, but I don't know if it would be a GOTY caliber, at least for me. Maybe for
Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, baby. We're getting Zelda.
Dude, it was so funny. I saw a tweet where it's like, is it just me or did everyone just forget this game existed? And in that moment, I forgot that game existed. I was like, wait, Hyrule Warriors, they're making another one? Oh, wait, right. Yeah, that was at the Direct. I don't know. There's not a lot of hype for it. I see. I would say like, oh, a Nintendo game might win if it's like 3D Mario or something comes in, and it's like, no, it's probably not gonna be. Donkey Kong, yeah, I'm excited, but I don't know if it's GOTY.
You just have to start the propaganda now of everyone in the Discord be like, yeah, guys, Donkey Kong, it's so good. Everyone needs to play it. Give it your number one slot.
Yeah, if Donkey Kong's my GOTY, Fusion, can you just make it your number one? Like just for
voting. No, I didn't play it.
Yeah, just put it as your number one just for voting sake, you know?
I'll think about it.
Hey,
only if you put Silk Song in your top 2.
I will do it, yeah. I'll take that agreement.
Dude, can you imagine our Soggies? It's going to be Expedition 33, Silk Song, and I don't know what's the third game. That's quite the year for us.
GTA 6. Nope. Not anymore.
I'd probably go to Yotai if I had to guess, or Yotai.
Yeah, maybe Death Stranding.
That's possible because I could play. I'm more likely to play Ghost of Yotai than I am Death Stranding, so that's possible.
We will see. It's a very, very strong year for games, even without GTA. Okay.
It's funny though. I was like looking at the lineup for GTA and like the GGAs and Soggies and stuff like that. I'm like, GTA is just like unfair in this lineup. Like we should give the other games a better chance. And then now that's in 2026, and I'm like, that's a much better lineup for competition. Like you got Soros in there. You got what is it like? Exodus.
No, Exodus is not GOTY caliber. All right, you guys have been gassing yourselves up about that game. That's a 79.
Oh, you said that about Claire of Fear, and look what happened.
No, I said that was like mid 80s. All right, I said low to mid 80s. The way you are about Lost Soul Aside is how I feel about it. Exodus.
And Fable's also a thing. So I don't know why, but it just feels like that lineup of like big anticipated games for 2026 feels more in caliber with GTA 6 than all the stuff we're talking about here in 2025. So like the weird balancing person in me is happy for that.
I will say I saw a number of posts today about like, yeah, no, these other games have a chance. Shut up. All right, GTA wins because it deserves to. That's why it wins.
It can win in 2026 when I'm okay with it beating Fable and Exodus and Sorrows.
Oh, you know what? You know what? No, it was Sandfall. I shouted you out earlier. It's your fault for releasing the same year as GTA 6. If that happened, turns out they were smart. Shout outs to them. they took the bet. Damn. I do wonder. It seems like this game's pretty clearly going to be nominated for TGA. I don't know if it will win at all, considering how competitive this year is, but it's possible.
Oh,
It
it's
is interesting
definitely
to
not.
think, like, what is the lineup with GTA out of the race? Like, what is like the potential lineup now? I would have to assume Donkey Kong is going to get up there.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. I mean, Mario Kart might actually get up there instead. Wait,
That's
I don't
Split Fiction will be there.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's also like
Forgot about
Kingdom
Split
Come
Fiction.
2, Monster Hunter. Like, there's a lot of shit this year.
I think Monster Hunter is going to get lost in the shuffle because it was so. I don't want to say mixed, but it's like, yeah, it's really good, and then like no one's talking about it now.
Well, I think it was less mixed and more so like the hardcore Monster Hunter players like just had personal issues with it to the point where maybe they don't vote it up there. But who knows? It got an 89. It was a highly rated game.
I mean, in a lesser year, I could see it getting up there, but now with what still is still to come, and even the big games we have now, I can see Monster Hunter not making it.
Is this the year Xbox tax goes away, boys?
I mean, doesn't even affect Claire Obscure because I mean it is a multi-platform game.
Yeah,
There's also Doom.
Oh,
we have
Doom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Doom, and
Xbox.
just put the Oblivion remake up there.
Oh, dude, if it was a good world, it would be up there. I see all these people. It was funny, Fusion. You brought this up earlier of like, damn, Wolf's gonna hate Claire Obscure before he even plays it because all the people roasting GTA and Oblivion because of it. I was like, you know what? Maybe that is kind of happening and welling up inside of me. I do want to play it. It's just, come on, man. It's Oblivion time.
I'll get to Oblivion in like June or July or something in a slower month.
But yeah, I think that's it, boys. Unless I'm missing anything we've been playing.
No,
I don't think we did.
Cool. All right, boys. Well, that was a pretty lengthy episode, but a fun one. Thank you all for joining me today. If you guys enjoyed us, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all sorts of podcast platforms. We're on pretty much everything. Like us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. I think that's about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Support Claire Obscure and Oblivion.
For those who come after.
Oblivion second. Well.